Assistia Mita na Absa, the official banking partner of the EPL in Africa. Stand a chance to win 1 million Kenya shillings every month when you deposit into your Absa personal or business account. That's Absa. That's Africanacity.
Sumo Premium Candles. It is made of pure, fully refined paraffin wax. It doesn't have smoke. It has long burning hours. It is non-drip. It doesn't smell.
Always smile and work with Sumo Candle from Rock Industries Limited. For inquiries, visit our offices at Ndume Road off Lungalunga Road behind Carton Manufacturers near Sinai Stage. You can also talk to us through 0722 575 619.
Do you own land or property in Nairobi? Hurry and clear your outstanding land rates. We have extended the 100% waiver on land rates up to 15th November 2020. So, collect your invoice from our cash office at Times Tower Banking Hall or City Hall and Makadara offices and pay today only through the Nairobi County Revenue Collection accounts at Cooperative Bank of Kenya. You stand to gain 100% from the 100% waiver extension. At the end of the waiver period, KRA will institute enforcement measures. Terms and conditions apply.
Oh my, oh my, oh my days. Life is wonderful. Life is wonderful. Life is wonderful. Life is wonderful. Never understood. Never understood. Life can be this good.
This is NTV.
You're just in time for your most comprehensive news bulletin at this hour. Welcome to NTV at 1. I am Julians Amboko. We begin the broadcast with a look at the situation in the United States of America, where celebrations continue to erupt across various cities following the election of Joseph Biden as the 46th president of the United States. Biden has this morning made his first speech as the president-elect, an address largely centered on unifying the nation, battling the COVID-19 pandemic and improving race relations on the back of a cliffhanger election that caught the attention of the world for days. Biden was declared victor upon winning the state of Pennsylvania to cross the 270 electoral college votes. Here is a collection of some of the speech highlights.
I sought this office to restore the soul of America, to rebuild the backbone of this nation, the middle class, and to make America respected around the world again. I'm a proud Democrat, but I will govern as an American president. I'll work as hard for those who didn't vote for me as those who did. Let this grim era of demonization in America begin to end here and now. It's time to put away the harsh rhetoric, lower the temperature, see each other again, listen to each other again. And to make progress, we have to stop treating our opponents as our enemies. They are not our enemies, they are Americans. And I'll have the honor of serving with the fantastic Vice President who you just heard from, Kamala Harris, who makes history as the first woman first black woman, the first woman from South Asian descent, the first daughter of an immigrant ever elected in this country. The people of this nation have spoken. They've delivered us a clear victory, a convincing victory, a victory for we the people. We've won with the most votes ever cast on a presidential ticket in the history of the nation.
Now, the election of Joseph Robinette Biden Jr. as the 46th President of the United States of America marks a milestone for a man who was among the youngest to declare interest in the presidency in the late 1980s. His accession to the highest political office in the world comes on the back of the wealth of experience as Vice President and in foreign relations. Here is a look at his political life and career.
President-elect Joe Biden has been in politics longer than any presidential candidate ever.
So it's with great honor and humility, I accept this nomination for President of the United States of America.
His career includes 36 years in the Senate and 2 terms as Barack Obama's vice president. Born on November 20th, 1942, Biden grew up in the blue-collar city of Scranton in northeast Pennsylvania. His family later moved to Delaware, where Biden would go on to oust an established Republican senator at just 30 years old. A few weeks after his win, Biden's wife and their 1-year-old daughter were killed in a car accident. Biden later married his current wife, Jill. Their marriage has lasted 43 years. During his time in the Senate, he was known for working across party lines, but some of his political decisions don't look great in hindsight. He has been heavily criticized for his support of the Iraq War during his time in the Senate. His first presidential bid flopped after he was accused of making a series of exaggerations about his past and plagiarizing passages in his campaign speeches. He spent the later years of his career realigning his political positions on LGBTQ rights and criminal justice reform. Biden's 2008 presidential campaign never gained momentum, but Democratic nominee Barack Obama selected him as his running mate. Biden formed a close bond with Obama over the 8 years of their administration.
Mr. President, you ready to move?
Absolutely. This also gives the internet one last chance to talk about our bromance.
One of Obama's last acts as president was surprising Biden with the Presidential Medal of Freedom. The 2020 election is Biden's 3rd bid for the presidency.
How old are you, 17?
He may have run in 2016, but for the death of his elder son, Beau, from a brain tumor. His latest campaign has been dogged by controversy surrounding Biden's youngest son, Hunter, who made headlines in a scandal involving his business dealings in Ukraine.
Quite frankly, folks, if I'm going to be able to beat Donald Trump in 2020, it's going to happen here. It's going to happen here in Western Pennsylvania. Now let me introduce to you, for the first time, your next Vice President of the United States, Kamala Harris. Kamala? Thanks, everybody.
Biden's 2020 election win at the age of 77 will make him one of the oldest presidents to serve.
Quite some good recap there. Staying with that subject, November 7th, 2020 marks a turning point in American politics with the election of Joe Biden and Kamala Harris to the White House. Kamala's accession to the second most powerful office in the U.S. is a first on many levels. She's the first woman to become VP, first black woman or woman of color, and the first Indian woman to ascend to the position. Leila Mohammed reports that the Oval Office could be the next frontier for the 56-year-old.
Within minutes of the confirmation of a Biden-Harris win, Americans flocked the streets in major cities to celebrate a new dawn and a new era in American politics. For young girls like her, the red and blue of the American flag symbolic of the events of the day. The unlikely lady of the moment, Kamala David Harris, shattering the glass ceiling to become the first woman and black vice president of the United States of America.
We did it, Joe. You're going to be the next president of the United States.
The embracing and fist bumping as they took to the stage, watched by millions across the globe to address a deeply divided nation. Kamala's remarks sending a strong message that women are claiming their rightful place at the seat of power.
But while I may be the first woman in this office, I will not be the last. Because every little girl watching tonight sees that this is a country of possibilities.
Kamala's election breaks many barriers and sets new records. Her parents were immigrants from Jamaica and India, and she grew up in California, where she was elected to the Senate. Harris took the time to hail her late mother.
And to the woman most responsible for my presence here today, my mother, Shamala Gopalan Harris, who is always in our hearts. When she came here from India at the age of 19, she maybe didn't quite imagine this moment. But she believed so deeply in an America where a moment like this is possible. And so I am thinking about her and about the generations of women, black women, Asian, white, Latina, Native American women who throughout our nation's history have paved the way for this moment tonight.
Harris served as a deputy district attorney in Auckland between 1990 and 1998, earning a reputation for toughness by prosecuting cases of gang violence, drug trafficking and sexual abuse. The 56-year-old rose through the ranks to become the district attorney in 2004. In 2010, she was narrowly elected Attorney General of California, winning by a margin of less than 1%, thus becoming the first female and the first African American to hold that position.
I am so proud of her. I am so proud of her. 1, because she's black. 2, because she's educated. 3, because she was the district attorney of San Francisco. And 4, because she's from Oakland.
I'm so proud that she had the courage to do what she did, because it's not easy to run for office in this country.
In early 2015, Harris declared her candidacy for the Senate of California, and on the campaign trail, she called for immigration and criminal justice reforms, increases to the minimum wage, and protection of women's reproductive rights.
There's still a lot of work to be done, but it's progress.
In 2018, she declared her interest to run for the top seat of that country and ran among various other candidates for the Democratic Party ticket. The duo now awaits their inauguration on January 20th, 2021.
And certainly congratulations to Kamala Harris on that victory. Now, as the celebratory mood escalates across America, with many Biden supporters elated of their preferred candidate finally clinching to power, President Donald Trump has declined to concede the election, declaring that he would challenge the vote. Shortly after Biden's win through the college vote, the Trump campaign, through a statement, threatened to go to court on Monday.
Joe Biden awaits to be inaugurated on the 20th of January as the 46th President of the United States following his win over Donald Trump. His predecessor is not a happy man. As early as Wednesday, Trump came forward claiming he had won the election pending the final result. He further accused the Democrats of stealing the vote.
This is a fraud on the American public. This is an embarrassment to our country. We were getting ready to win this election. Frankly, we did win. So we'll be going to the U.S. Supreme Court. We want all voting to stop.
He took onto his Twitter account stating that, and I quote, "I won these elections by a lot. 71 million legal votes, the most ever for a sitting president." He continued, "The observers were not allowed into the counting rooms. I won the election, got 71 million legal votes. Bad things happened which our observers were not allowed to see. Never happened before. Millions of mail-in ballots were sent to people who have never asked for them." Trump will become the first one-term president since George H.W. Bush, who lost to Bill Clinton in the 90s. He refuses to concede and is understood to be considering legal options before declaring his position. As of this hour, Biden was leading with over 4 million ballots in the popular vote and 273 electoral college votes against Trump's 213. Trump needed victories in nearly all of the states to amass 270 electoral votes, and the Associated Press has called everyone but Georgia in favor of Biden. The former reality TV star took to his Twitter on Saturday to say, and I quote, "Tens of thousands of votes were illegally received after 8 p.m. on Tuesday, Election Day, totally and easily changing the result in Pennsylvania and certain other razor-thin states." As the Trump campaign pursues legal options, experts say that for an election to be successfully litigated, the margins between the candidates have to be exceedingly close, or if the number of contested ballots exceeds the margin of victory.
Now, Biden and Harris supporters continue to flock the streets of major cities across the United States in celebration of the historic victory in which the campaign garnered the most votes in American history, from New York and Miami in the east to Denver and Austin out in the west. Biden supporters flooded into the streets after CNN and other news organizations projected Biden as the winner on Saturday morning, honking horns, cheering, dancing, and popping champagne. In Washington, D.C., a crowd packed into the streets in front of the White House within seconds of the race being called. The streets nearby filled with people shouting, banging pots, pans, and singing, "Na, na, 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 hey, 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 goodbye." The celebratory crowd in the blocks around the White House created the traffic jam, with people sitting on top of cars and drivers holding their fists out of the window.
The votes were counted properly. You know, people of color came out in numbers that have never been seen before, particularly in the Latinx community. And I was grinding my teeth to the gums for the past 2 days, so this is a relief to have some closure with that, for sure. And excited to go in a very different direction than we have in the past 4 years.
While Biden is not Trump, I still have a lot of issues with him. And so I think this is a good first step into making America the place that we want it to be.
And we're so excited that we feel like we have a future. We feel like the people of America have a future, and we have a future that we can look forward to.
Now, while leaders have been rushing to congratulate U.S. President-elect Joe Biden, with many expressing hope of unity and cooperation following 4 years of explosive Donald Trump diplomacy, while Trump refused to accept the results of the election, many world leaders made it clear they have backed the announcement that Biden had won with the running mate Kamala Harris. And we can see Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, I should say, congratulating Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. Joe, we've had a long and warm personal relationship for nearly 40 years. And I know you are a great friend of Israel. And Emmanuel Macron, the president of France, saying the Americans have chosen their president. Congratulations to Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. We have a lot to do to overcome today's challenges. Let's work together. And elsewhere, we can see congratulations to the American people and institutions for an outstanding turnout of the democratic vitality. We are ready to work with the President-elect Joe Biden to make the transatlantic relationship stronger. The U.S. can count on Italy as a solid ally and a strategic partner. And this looks like it's coming from Chancellor Angela Merkel. Congratulations, the American people have made their decision. Joe Biden will be the 46th President of the United States of America. I sincerely wish him the best of luck and every success. And I would also like to congratulate Kamala Harris, the first female Vice President-elect in the history of your country. I look forward to working with President Biden. Our transatlantic friendship is indispensable if we are to deal with the major challenges of our time. And a message from the British Prime Minister. Congratulations to Joe Biden on his election as the President of the United States, and to Kamala Harris on her historic achievement. The U.S. is our most important ally, and I look forward to working closely together on our shared priorities for climate change, to trade and security. And back home, Kenyan leaders have joined the rest of the world in congratulating President-elect Joe Biden and Vice President-elect Kamala Harris on their victory. President Uhuru Kenyatta has hailed the victory as an opportunity for Kenya and the United States to build on already existing relations. Ngina Kirori looks at views from Kenyan leaders.
As the official results trickled in America, top leaders in Kenya began to congratulate U.S. President Joe Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris on their historic win. President Uhuru Kenyatta today sent his best wishes to the duo, terming the emphatic win in the hard-fought polls as a demonstration of Americans' confidence in the leadership credentials of the former vice president. President Kenyatta also says that Biden is a close friend to Kenya, and his win will present a big and better platform for Kenya and the U.S. to collaborate more closely for the prosperity of the people of the two nations. Former Prime Minister Raila Odinga has congratulated Biden and says that he looks forward to the two countries joining hands on matters such as the global coronavirus pandemic, slowed economies, democracy, and climate change. Former Vice President Kalonzo Musyoka, while sending his congratulations to Biden and Harris, said that the win will herald the return of faith in international organizations such as WHO. Former Deputy Prime Minister and Vice President Musalia Mudavadi has termed Biden and Harris's win as a blow to arrogance and impunity for those holding high office, while Ford Kenya Party leader Moses Wetangula stated that with Biden and Harris holding office, impunity has no chance in the face of democracy. Gena Kirori, NTV.
And that report by Ngina takes us to a short break. When we come back, more on the Kenya-US bilateral ties. Stay tuned.
Sona moja imetengenezwa kwa njia spesheli ili kupambana na maumivu kwa haraka. Sona moja ina aspirin kama kiungo. Sona moja, kitulizo kamili. Maumivu yakizidi, pata ushauri wa daktari.
Kenya Medical Training College will hold its 88th graduation ceremony on December 3rd, 2020, virtually at KMTC Graduation Square, Nairobi from 10 a.m. Graduates must pay a graduation fee of 2,500 to National Bank. A donning graduation gown will be optional, and graduates wishing to get one can visit KMTC headquarters in Nairobi from November 4, 2020 to November 20th, 2020. We invite you to join the live event on Facebook at KMTC Official and YouTube at KMTC Official. KMTC, training for better health.
Oh my, oh my, oh my days. Life is wonderful. Life is wonderful. Life is wonderful. Life is wonderful. Never understood. Life can be this good.
When the world changed, it made us go back to the simple joys and love the little things even more, like serving up your best, eating together, and sharing more. Now, we'll take nothing for granted and always remember to taste the simple joys. Coca-Cola, taste the simple joys.
I wish I could have soft and glowing skin.
New Geisha Black Soap with activated charcoal to give you soft and glowing skin. New Geisha Black Soap and New Geisha Moringa.
Sona moja imetengenezwa kwa njia spesheli ili kupambana na maumivu kwa haraka. Sona moja ina aspirin kama kiungo. Sona moja, kitulizo kamili. Maumivu yakizidi, pata Pata ushauri wa daktari.
Welcome back to NTV at 1, where we have been unpacking matters regarding the U.S. election. And based on that, let's have a look at the key components of the U.S.-Kenya bilateral relations and trade volumes, just to look at some key numbers which inform the trade between the two countries. In terms of trade balance, these numbers are looking at the average between the 2016 and 2019. That's the period of the Trump administration. So exports to the USA have been averaging about 47.5 billion shillings. Imports from the USA about 55.2 billion shillings, resulting in a trade deficit whereby we have about 7.7 billion shillings. So clearly the trade is in favor of the United States. We'll wait to see how this unfolds under the Biden administration. Crossing over to the next graphic, which will give us more insight. In terms of Kenya's exports to the United States, the bulk of them are normally apparel. There should be a legend here showing that, but unfortunately it's not there. Coming close to that, or rather a distant second, we have edible fruits and plants, which are normally about 11.8 billion shillings. And after that, we have coffee, tea and spices, coming at about 4.1 billion shillings, and then the rest of all exports averaging about 5.6 billion shillings. And crossing over to something else, as far as the foreign direct investment stock in Kenya from the United States, in 2018 it was averaged at about $366.4 million US dollars. In 2019 it went downwards by about 3.8 percentage points to about 353 million US dollars. So we wait to see how this will evolve going forward in light of the new changes. And finally, let's take a look at something else which has been critical as far as the Kenya-US ties are concerned. You'll remember that we're now pursuing the Kenya-US free trade area, and that is critical because it is the first in sub-Saharan Africa. So August 2018 was the first announcement by the two presidents, that is Trump and Uhuru Kenyatta, that there were intents of pursuing an FTA. And then on the 6th of February 2020, the two presidents made formal the announcement in Washington, D.C. The two countries were pursuing this. And then on August 17th, the negotiations towards the free trade area were formally launched. And of course, we had a whole ceremony outside the Harambee House at the footsteps there, where some of us were covering, just looking at the detail of that. And we'll be unpacking this a lot more in subsequent bulletins. But continuing this subject, the US election has caught the attention of the whole world for several days, and Kenyans have not been left behind. Across the nation, millions were glued to their television sets to catch live updates from America. Let's now speak to some of our regional correspondents. First off is Oko Kusa in Kisumu. What are the people of Kisumu saying in light of the developments in the United States, Oko?
Of course, very interesting reactions here, Julians, and I've got a couple of residents here who's going to tell us what exactly they feel about the outcome of that particular election. Let's start with this gentleman here. Start by introducing yourself.
Mimi naitwa Philip Otieno, mimi mkazi wa Kisumu. Nimefurahia tena sana kwa kulingana na uchaguzi wa imefanyika huko Amerika. Hiyo ni kitu muhimu sana. Je, nimesoma kwa rais mwenye ameshinda Joe Biden, ako ni mtu mtulivu kabisa. Kulingana vile alikuwa anaongea, walifanya uchaguzi on Wednesday, lakini uchaguzi ilienda mpaka jana bila kutangazwa mshindi. Na yeye kwa alikuwa anasema watu wakuwe utulivu tu. Watulie mpaka mwishowe watapata chenye walikuwa wanataka. Hiyo ni jambo kubwa kabisa. Najua yeye atakuwa mwenye jasiri sana.
Sasa acha tusikize kwa mwingine. Karibu jamaa. Anza kwa jina.
Kwa majina najulikana kama Edwin Otieno.
Okay, tueleze tu maoni yako kuhusu uchaguzi wa Amerika, matokeo.
Uchaguzi wa Amerika tumeifurahia sana kama Biden team tumefurahia sana. Na tumeshukuru sana vile Biden na Harris Kamala wamepata hiyo uongozi.
Okay, sasa wa mwisho.
Sasa sisi tunasema bwana, tuliona Obama akitetea Biden. That is where we know the victory was supposed to be. Because you are seeing in US, they are divided nation, but Trump was dividing them. Even the wars that he was bringing, the tweets that he was doing, are not even making sense. So the sense in itself, Biden is coming home to roost. Okay. And Kamala Harris Kamala is of a descent of the people of color. Okay. And we are hoping that the small girls will learn from him. Okay. That is from her.
Well, Julians, those are some of the reactions from residents here in Kisumu. As you can hear, of course, some excitement in the air. And of course, it's standing out that a lot of them were rooting for the Biden-Kamala ticket. And of course, they are excited, as we just heard from them. Back to you in the studio.
Many thanks, Oko Kusan. Let's cross over to Nakuru, where my colleague Ruth Sarmwe is also on standby with some reactions. Ruth, what are the residents in that area saying?
Nakuru residents are also celebrating the 46th president of the United States of America. So we're joined with some of the residents here. Na tutaanza na wewe. Tafadhali tuambie jina lako na maoni yako ni yapi?
Kwa majina naitwa Peter Kurgat. Nasema kwamba Trump akubali maamuzi ya wananchi wa Amerika. Atoke mara moja iwezekanavyo. Kwa sababu yeye ameonekana kwamba hatoshi kufanya kazi ya huko Amerika. So aende na heshimu maamuzi wa Amerika. Hivyo tu.
Sawa sawa, asante sana. Na kwako tafadhali anza kwa jina lako na utuambie maoni yako ni gani?
Mimi naitwa Alexander Lee Juma na mimi nafurahia kwa ile ambao hatua wa Amerika wamechukua. Kwa sababu Rais Donald Trump, mimi nashinda wakati alichukua hii uongozi ya Amerika, nilifikiria kwamba atapenda kila mtu. Lakini sasa alifika mahali akawa anachukia mpaka Waafrika. Sasa Waafrika ndio wanahamishwa. Sasa sisi hiyo kitu kama mimi Mkenya nilikasirika na hiyo kitu. Na mimi nafurahia kwa vile Biden amemshinda. So yakubali matokeo. Na sisi kama Kenya ama nchi za nje tunataka rais yeyote akichukua uongozi, mambo ya ukabila na kufukuza makabila zingine hapana. Sisi kama Kenya tunakaa na Wasudanese na tujai wafukuza. Tunafurahia kubali matokeo.
Asante sana. Well, Julians, you've heard those are some of the responses from Nakuru residents who are just congratulating the 46th president of the United States of America. And so that's all we have. Back to you, Julian.
Many thanks, Ruth Sarmoy, for giving us those insights from the ground. Now let's cross over to Gabriel Kudaka in Uasin Gishu. Kudaka, what are the residents saying?
Thank you so much, Julian. Residents are very excited about Biden's win. Some hope to get a lot of things because of his win. But some also here, the others also support Trump and feel so disappointed about the whole thing altogether. Let's talk to them and get their views. What's your name and then who are you supporting and what do you feel about the results so far?
My name is Tafari. I've been supporting Joe Biden. I think Trump, to me, has failed to handle the issue of color problem. And I think it's high time for maybe social change, for maybe the blacks to have some form of equity. We as Africa, we are looking forward to our brothers and sisters who are in the Western. So we just hope for the best, and we really hope things may change in future. And all the best to all Democrats. And yeah, thank you.
Okay, thank you. And my brothers, your name and then who are you supporting and how do you feel about the results so far?
My name is Sean. Mine was supporting Donald Trump because
now, the president-elect Joe Biden is going to inherit an economy adversely impacted by the COVID-19 pandemic when he assumes presidency early next year. This is going to be one of his key priorities, even as the country's fatalities from the pandemic, which have now surpassed the 235,000 mark, continue to pile on. Alex Mwangi explores his entry.
The U.S. economy has taken a beating not only from the COVID-19 pandemic, but also from its handling by the Trump administration, which treated the pandemic with disdain. On Friday, as the count of the presidential votes was nearing a definitive conclusion, America broke another record by registering 132,700 new COVID-19 cases.
On Monday, I will name a group of leading scientists and experts as transition advisors to help take the Biden-Harris COVID plan and convert it into an action blueprint that will start on January the 20th, 2021. That plan will be built on bedrock science. It will be constructed out of compassion, empathy, and concern. I will spare no effort, none, or any commitment to turn around this pandemic.
Biden, who clinched the presidency by having Democrats reclaim the states of Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania, and then flip the traditional red states of Nevada, Arizona, and Georgia, summarized his priorities during his acceptance speech last night.
Americans have called upon us to marshal the forces of decency, the forces of fairness, to marshal the forces of science and the forces of hope in the great battles of our time. The battle to control the virus, the battle to build prosperity, the battle to secure your family's health care, the battle to achieve racial justice and root out systemic racism in this country. And the battle to save our planet by getting climate under control. The battle to restore decency, defend democracy, and give everybody in this country a fair shot. That's all they're asking for, a fair shot.
Hey Trump, you're fired! We're here to say you're fired! We're here to say you're fired!
Biden has pledged to tackle inequality, a pertinent issue in the US where opportunity is easier to come by for whites.
The American story is about slow yet steadily widening the opportunities in America. And make no mistake, too many dreams have been deferred for too long. We must make the promise of the country real for everybody.
And coming back home, the clamor for adjustments to the Constitutional Amendment Bill continues to grow as those pushing for that agenda now say more views need to be captured. Our senior political affairs reporter Kennedy Mureithi is on standby with Amani National Congress Party leader Musalia Mudavadi. Mureithi, what is the view from the ANC leader?
A very good afternoon to you, Julians, there in studio. And it is quite interesting today and this afternoon, actually. Our church service has just ended at the Christ is the Answer Ministries. And what we do expect is that Amani National Congress leader Musalia Mudavadi will be walking out and addressing the press. And it is not lost that Musalia Mudavadi has been pushing for a bit of amendments to the Constitutional Amendment Bill 2020 that had been drafted by the BBI task force, and he has actually even gone ahead to meet President Uhuru Kenyatta. We do understand that last week it was one of the talking points in their meeting at State House. We do not know the details. Probably when we will be outside here we'll be asking, but it is not also lost that Musalia Mudavadi has come to the Christ is the Answer Ministries church, where the leader here, Bishop Oginde, is one of those people that has been insistent and also spoke at the launch of this particular report at the Bomas of Kenya, where he said that the church will be reading this document very carefully, then they will be making a decision. He's one of those people who has been hailed as having spoken very well at that function that was the Bomas of Kenya. So today we'll be trying to understand what is it that Mudavadi wants changed in this particular document. President Uhuru Kenyatta and ODM leader Raila Odinga have been very categorical that they do not want to open this document to further discussions, as it is also another avenue for derailing what they do want. So whether Musalia Mudavadi was able to seek to push his agenda when he had a meeting with President Uhuru Kenyatta is one of those points that we'll be seeking to find answers to, or whether he still holds that view that this document should be open to discussion. One of the other things that we also realized and noticed is that a week ago at Naivasha, where President Uhuru Kenyatta and Raila Odinga spoke to members of parliament, there was an element of changing the literature of that particular document, according to members of parliament whom we spoke to. We do not know actually what that basically means, but moving forward, as you have said, Julians, is that the clamor continues to rise, and we would really want to know what is it that they do want to push, and if Musalia Mudavadi got that audience with President Uhuru Kenyatta to push his agenda, anytime from now he will be coming to speak to us, and we'll be capturing those views for our subsequent bulletins. But as of now, those are the views that he has been clamoring for. He has not changed his position, not as so far as we do know, but we do expect that when he does come here, he will be telling us, was he convinced by President Uhuru Kenyatta to support the document as is, or was he able to push and say, these are some of the things that I want to see changed in that particular document. It will be an interesting view, but we do wait to hear what the point is going to be. Back to you, Julians.
Many thanks, Kennedy Mureithi, for giving us those thoughts regarding the political environment locally. And now to some sporting action where Chelsea came from behind to thrash Sheffield United 4-1 at the Stamford Bridge as they moved up to third place in the Premier League table, a point behind leader Southampton. David McGoldrick gave the Blues the lead in the 9th minute before Tammy Abraham equalized for Chelsea in the 23rd minute. Ben Stadium. Of the viewing.
This is NTV.
I help women find independence by training them in fish farming. It's tough on my back, joints, and can cause headaches. Panadol Extra relieves multiple types of pain.
If symptoms persist, seek medical advice.
Parenting is all about learning when to be tough and when to be gentle. Tough, gentle. But when it comes to fever, you need to be both. Panadol Baby and Infant starts to work on fever in 15 minutes and is gentle on the tummy. Tough call. Panadol Baby and Infant. Tough on fever, gentle on your child.
Kenya Medical Training College will hold its 88th graduation ceremony on December 3rd, 2020 virtually at KMTC Graduation Square, Nairobi from 10 a.m. Graduates must pay a graduation fee of 2,500 to National Bank. KMTC, training for better health.
On this week's episode of your most informative property show, we look at some of the most successful women in the built environment. We talk to the president of the Architectural Association of Kenya, Mugure Jendu, on what associations are doing to empower women.
So don't try and juggle everything. It's not realistic. It's impossible. But what you're handling at that specific moment, try and do it well.
And also find out more on how women are advancing the real estate sector from Senator Architect Sylvia Kasanga.
The built environment is delicate, it's very delicate, especially now during the time of COVID.
to developer Hamida Hassanali.
Real estate is a very, very interesting business to go into. Like every day is a different day.
You do not want to miss a thing this Sunday at 5:30 p.m. on NTV.
What a relief! Thank you, Gold Crown.
If regular milk makes you feel uncomfortable, try Gold Crown lactose-free milk. Milk that loves you.
To help fight the spread of coronavirus, learn Lifebuoy's hand washing habits. Wash hands with soap or use an alcohol-based hand sanitizer. Together, let's help fight the spread of coronavirus in Kenya.
Imagine not being able to swallow, to blink, or not being able to even control your bladder.
There was a time I lost my eyesight on one eye.
Close to 34 years if I'm not wrong. Ndio ijulikane ni multiple sclerosis. Niko naye.
At 16 I was being taught how to walk again. And still I couldn't write.
Multiple sclerosis, yes, it's a rare disease, but would like to understand what exactly it is because there are people who live with it.
What a relief! Thank you, Gold Crown.
If regular milk makes you feel uncomfortable, try Gold Crown lactose-free milk. Milk that loves you.
NTV, turning on your world. The following program has been rated GE. It is therefore suitable for general family viewing.
Greetings from Champs Media, a warm welcome to Daring Abroad, and we are glad you found time to be with us once again on this inspiring TV series about people who have ventured beyond the borders. Today we are in the United Arab Emirates, Australia.